Hey guys, Zizaran here. This is going to be a Vaal Fireball Elementalist guide. I first tried Vaal Fireball in Prophecy, before Dying Sun and before Fireball got buffed. I tried it on both Elementalist and Inquisitor and it was an okay build. But Fireball has been buffed and items like Dying Sun and the Wise Oak has been added, making it possibly better than Valspark. And regardless, it's going to be a nice change of pace, especially if you're getting bored of Valspark and you want to try something new. The build works great on both Elementalist and Inquisitor, and they both have different upsides. With Elementalist, you get a really nice clear speed, especially with mods like Beyond On, because your Elemental Proliferation will take care of mobs not directly hit or that spawn later. It's also a lot harder to die to Reflect because of the 50% reduced Elemental Reflect damage taken. Conflux also gives you extra damage from shock, and your 2 golems are going to stay out most of the time, especially if you invest 1 point into minion regen. Porcupines can be scary because you don't shatter. A big upside to the not shattering though is that you can easily take out some unwanted teammates on accident. Elementalist is also a lot better for magic finding when you have access to an item quantity gem or you're using an item rarity, because if you're an Inquisitor and you're using Herald of Ice, your Herald will steal a lot of the kills, stealing some of the magic find bonus. I'm currently wearing full MF gear on my Elementalist, and it's slightly lacking on damage for high maps on a 5 link. If you put in a 6 link, it's definitely got enough damage. It's extremely good at speed farming tier 2 maps and things like Dry Lake as well. From my experience so far, I'd say Inquisitor is better if you're interested in high maps, but usually these builds focus on farming lower maps fast. You also don't need a Dying Sun on Elementalist, and I feel you're sort of forced to get one on an Inquisitor. Leveling the build was pretty easy. I tried using Fireball for a while, but I wasn't a big fan and I ended up using Firestorm. I pretty much just picked up the early Witch, Fire and Life nodes, not really planning much. I used a Tabular for leveling with a Firestorm, and the links were Firestorm, Fire Penetration, Added Lightning, Faster Casting, Control Destruction, and Elemental Focus. You can also use Empower instead of Elemental Focus if you have a +1 Tabula. Another alternative is using my Flame Blast starter guide for leveling. Bandits are Kraityn, Alira, giving you resist for easier gearing, especially if you're doing magic find, attack speed for your shield charge, and power charge for critting. Ascending, you take Shaper of Desolation followed by Beacon of Ruin. Make sure you don't have Elemental Focus in once you've taken this, and use Conk Effect or NKOE instead. Next up is Paragon of Calamity, then Liege of the Primordial Last. I used Vaal Fireball in a 4 link with Fire Pen, Spell Echo, and Faster Projectiles. If you're low on damage, you can use Control Destruction instead of Faster Projectiles. You can check PoE trade for a cheap Vaal Caress. I was actually really lucky and managed to get a +2 Vaal Gems one for around 10 chaos. That gives you +4 to Vaal Fireball. Every time I was in Dry Lake, I 6 linked the Vaal Fireball instead of Firestorm. While leveling and not being crit, the links were Vaal Fireball, Control Destruction, Fire Pen, Faster Projectiles, Spell Echo, and Empower, which can be swapped out for NKOE or Added Lightning. I'll put a link in the description to my character Zizaran FB, which is my Vaal Fireball character, so you can see all the endgame links and gems as well. It is very similar to Valspark, but because it has a lower soul requirement, it's pretty easy to start out in Dry Lake with only 1 stack harvest. You also do need 2 Rolling Flames. I've been corrupting every Rolling Flame I've found, hoping to get immune to silence for improved quality of life. For added single target, you can make an Essence of Horror helmet for your Fireball or Flame Blast setup. It gives Socketed Gems 30% more elemental damage. Weapon wise, I recommend a Bright Beak, but if you're really struggling on damage, you can use a Crit Dagger or Doriani's Catalyst. Death's Door is amazing because they let you use a Adrenaline Quicksilver, saving you a flash slot for the bleed immunity. You can use Insanity Gloves for shield charge, although I'm magic fine, so I'm using Sedemus Gloves. Rings and amulets can be crafted using Anger Essences. I use Kiaras for my stun immunity, but you can also use an Eye of Cholula if you aren't confident in your potion management. The Wise Oak gives you additional fire penetration as long as your fire resist is your high, and additional damage mitigation against your lowest resist. If you sync up your resists perfectly, you get 20% penetration against everything, and 10% damage resist against everything, giving you a very nice mitigation. A damage added to spells Vinctor is used, and with Herald of Thunder, this is enough against Reflect. Leech Enchant on Boots can be a great quality of life, both for keeping your energy shield and your mana. The nodes behind Conduit are enough to keep you maxed on all the power charges. I also use a Curse on Hit Warlord's Mark with Herald of Thunder. You can also have Assassin's Mark on this instead if you feel like power charges aren't up enough. I prefer Warlord's Mark for the additional not dyingness. You can look at Zizaran FB for gear and gem ideas. It's currently wearing MF gear, but I mentioned about different gear earlier. So just high energy shield gear. Hopefully this guide helps you out. I don't think I've forgotten anything, but if I do, you can drop by my stream at twitch.tv/Zizaran. Hope you guys have an amazing day and try to die less than I did.